Welcome to the Overtime Podcast. My name is Vince Delicio, and every week our amazing team brainstorms on ideas, ultimately deciding on one topic to build our show. With a little help from people in the community, coming together to answer one question, one topic. This week, that topic is: what effect has coaching had on an athlete's love for the game? You'll hear from the experts. We hope you enjoy the next 20 minutes. Welcome to Overtime.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Raymond Moreno from the Varsity Sports Show, and today I have a special guest here, Mark Hunter from the Ozark Christian Athletics. He is a guard. Welcome to the Overtime Podcast on today's episode. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more?
Thank you for having me. I'm Mark Hunter. I'm from Tucson, Arizona. I'm 23 years old. I'm currently in college for business management with a minor entrepreneurship. This is my senior year in the classroom, but my second year on the court, so I still have some eligibility left. I'm currently battling a meniscus tear, so hopefully I can get that figured out and be back on the court next year.
Yeah, and so you just wrapped up play with Ozark, and you guys had a very good season. Chris
Yes.
Lamb, he or Lamb, excuse me, Chris Lamb, he just had a 700 career win back in February, so he's a pretty really good coach. So, and transitioning to that, so the topic on today's podcast is effects of what coaching has on you. So the question is, what's has coach pretty much affected you on not only as a basketball player, but outside of basketball as well.
Yeah, so just started with basketball. Like he took a chance on me when I didn't think I was gonna go anywhere. I was previously at a school up in Kansas, Evyeni College, and after a few years there, I wanted to change, but I wasn't sure in what direction to turn to. And there was a moment where I didn't think I was going to be playing basketball anymore. But fortunately, I got a hold of Ozark, got a hold of Coach Chris Lamb, set up a visitation with the school and him, just had a one-on-one conversation with him, and within an hour and a half I knew like I wanted to come to this school. Like he's a great individual, he's a great human being, he's a great coach. And just like outside of basketball, like he just wants all of his guys to become better men at the end of the day. Like on and off the court, he just wants us to serve our community, just be good human beings. And I haven't had a coach like that in a while, like, to take me under, like discipline me the right way. Like I felt like before I got here, I was somewhat losing the love of basketball. But when I got back here, it made me get that spark again, that spark to want to, wake up for early morning conditioning, go to practices Monday through Friday, go to games, go travel. Like the constant repetitiveness of the basketball season, like I didn't mind doing that again just because of like the relationship I was able to make, not only with my coaches, but also with my teammates. Like the connection I have with my teammates is the best I had in years. So if I was able to, like I told my mom a couple weeks ago, if I was able to choose a school again, fresh out of high school, I would have came here all 4 years just because of the connections and the relationships I built around my coaches and everything.
Yeah, and you just previously mentioned before about that broken your meniscus. How has the coach helped you through that process and get you back to where you need to be at?
They were very helpful, like just showing me the places to like, go get my MRI. Like they were in the room talking with me, the trainers and my mom, like seeing like what the next steps are. They were constantly like just checking up on me like throughout the season or even after the season still like they'll call me and see like any update on my knee, like how I'm feeling like day to day. And like if I'm on campus and I see them walking past, like they always just like ask like, "Hey Mark, how's the knee doing?" So like it's good to know that like my coaches care because some coaches just really don't care about their players, but there's some that are genuine and like care about every single uh one of their players.
Well, I appreciate you so much for your time, Mark, and that will be it for today's
Of course, of course.
overtime podcast. Tune into the Varsity Sports Show's Overtime podcast with host Vince Delicio, streaming on Spotify, YouTube, and all major platforms every Monday. Stay in the game with the latest in high school and college sports, and follow us on Instagram and X. Search Varsity Sports Show for all the action. Hit that follow button and never miss a play. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is McKenna Kellams, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. I'm here alongside Chikki Muthabatulla, who is a member of the University of Washington women's club team. So, Chikki, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, so my name is Chikki. I go to the University of Washington, and I play soccer on the women's club team down there. I'm a junior right now, and I study informatics.
Perfect. So, how long have you played soccer for?
So I've been playing soccer since third grade. I started on the rec team, and then went to select, and then a premier team, and then now I moved to our club team once I started college.
Perfect. How many years have you been a part of the University of Washington's women's club team?
I started playing there my freshman year of college, and then since then I've just stuck pretty much.
So how do you think coaching affects your love for soccer?
I think that throughout my years, like since playing since third grade, I think I've had a lot of different coaches, and I've had some that I've loved, and then I've had some that I didn't really like. So I do think that it makes a really big impact on confidence as a player, like the style of how I play and like the relationship I have to the coach. I think it does make a really big impact. I think whenever you do have a really good coach, I think the environment of the atmosphere that you play in truly like does increase, and I think people feel more comfortable to play. And I think that like the whole team setting for the girls on the team, there's just a stronger chemistry when there is a good coach and alignment. Um, but I also do think that when you don't have that good of a coach that and not a good relationship with your coach, I think it does affect your individual like level of play pretty significantly.
So what about your current coach makes you want to play and be a part of a club team?
I would say right now, the amount of like support I think that I get currently is something that really motivates me. I think that kind of like obviously on the field, whatever they call does make a very big impact and probably the most impact, but also like the amount of support that we do get before going to a really big tournament. We all talk about things that we want to improve for this game. What's our like biggest goal for this tournament, or like what's our biggest goal for this game? Like what do you want to come out with being better at? And I think like things like that like really do play a really big part in like how I individually play, because I go in with the mindset, okay, like I need to fix this one thing. I want to watch out for this one thing. And obviously, like whatever is being told to me on the field is like super important and a big priority. But also those like supplemental type of activities that we do really impacts my like play on the field and off the field and my relationship with my teammates too.
Oh, so what do you think is important for a coach to have or to do to have a good relationship with their team and their players?
Yeah, I think that for a coach in specific, I think that it's important to understand the person on an individual level. I think that you obviously see how a person plays, you can analyze that, and then you can see what they can improve on and stuff. But like knowing a person of like where they came from, their like family background, their friend background, like what makes them actually like who they are, I think is so important, because you kind of even know somebody before you're able to coach them and help them get to a better spot. And understanding that person on like an individual level, I think is super important before you're able to like impact their life in a different like sport, and like coach them through that. So I think that one thing I would say that's really big is just like knowing who they are on like a friend level, and like kind of getting that surface level conversation in, and then you can establish a good relationship, and then also take constructive criticism from your coach. In general, I think you're able to take better constructive criticism as a player when you know your coach on like a better level versus when you're just like they're just a stranger to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Chikki, for joining me My name is McKenna Kellams, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in to Varsity Sports Show's Overtime podcast with host Vince Delisio, streaming on Spotify, YouTube, all major platforms every Monday. Stay in the game with the latest high school and college sports and follow us on Instagram and X. Search Varsity Sports Show for all the action. And hit that follow button and never miss a play.
Hello, I'm Marshall Brown with Varsity Sports here with the Overtime Podcast. I'm here with Evyeni Gavriilidis. And man, Evie, I just want to say I'm glad to have you on today. First, I want to start off, man. How has the season gone?
Well, we just finished up this last weekend. It wasn't the brightest season that we've ever seen. There was a lot of ups and downs, injuries, but thankfully none of them will be anything that lingers on to next year, or for some of the seniors, nothing that lingers on to their lives after sports. But not the brightest, but still a lot of positive outlook for the future and getting some momentum that we could out of this year.
Yeah, are you looking forward to anything for next year in particular?
I think this next, like all due respect to the groups that have led up to this, I think this next following year we have the best really structured of an executive type board that will really thoroughly take care of things, maybe more so off the field than on the field, but just a stronger team that's leading instead of it just being a select amount of individuals.
So our topic this week for the podcast, we're talking about coaches and the relationship with coaches and how much it means to have a coach that's important. So let me know, man, what's up with your ASU coaches, man? Do you like your rugby team? Do you like the coaches that you got?
Oh, yeah, I think especially as far as the club teams here at ASU go, I don't know how they all operate, but I think rugby is definitely one of the most fortunate as far as coaches goes, both in quantity and quality. We have guys from all across the country. I know our head coach is from South Africa. We have assistant coaches from England. We've had assistant coaches from Scotland, just all across the world with so many decades of experience. But apart from their technicality, they're really invested in the guys, and that makes it like a real pleasure to play for them.
Yeah. Would you say that your relationship is pretty good though?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And how important do you think a good and healthy relationship with a coach is for, everybody on the team, not even specifically you, but the team in general?
I mean, I think for any team, especially when you start to face adversity and maybe things aren't, you're not only there for the the glitz and the glamour of when things are high, but when you have a coach that has your better interest in mind and that can really unite a group of people, that's when you can really have a special team. And I think that those things are in place here.
Speaking of the past here, I know you didn't play rugby your entire life. You played some football, didn't you?
Yes.
You had a bad relationship with a coach where it just kind of makes your love for the game just a little diminished?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as big as football is here, there's got to be some maybe not great coaches that slip through the cracks, but yeah, some guys that I've seen, some of my best friends that we grew up playing football through youth league together, and then we come into high school and it's all of a sudden the game that they love, it's all in the hands of this coach that's treating them horribly and treating the game horribly. And it just kind of forces a lot of unfortunate things onto the game.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes even too, like players got bright futures, they're athletic.
Yeah.
It just doesn't pan out because of a coaching issue.
Yeah.
What do you think a good relationship with a coach should look like?
I think first and foremost, a good relationship with a coach there's got to be a certain amount of trust in both the player and the coach, that the player believes that in the coach's systems and how they operate day to day. And then the coach can trust that player to, when it comes down to it in a game, the coach can't be on that field. So that the player's going to follow through with everything that they've been taught, that they're going to pull through for that coach more or less.
Yeah. So would you say joining the rugby team, because you started at ASU, you played all your entire life, do you think the coach had a positive effect as you started playing rugby here at ASU?
Absolutely. I remember just the first day, the first steps I took onto that field, I went and talked to some of the guys, and it was like I just asked them, I was like, is this one of those scenarios where like I want to go meet the coaches, or is this like, the coaches are just there to watch more or less? But immediately the players that were already there, they told me, hey, yeah, go meet those guys. That's going to make a big impact. And from day one, I showed, like the interest of being one of their players, and they kind of took me under and showed me the ropes more or less.
Awesome. Hey, well, thank you, Evyeni. I appreciate you having you. The Overtime Podcast. I am Marshall Brown, and this is Varsity Sports.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Overtime Podcast this week. On behalf of our co-hosts, LaRon Wright from College of Southern Nevada, and Nia Jackson and Colby Miltenberger from Arizona State University, my name is Vince Delisio, and you've been watching and listening to the Overtime Podcast. See you next time.